He saved an imprisoned alien warrior. Now she won't leave his side for a moment. Aaron Hale was used to fear, but this fear felt different. His ship, the Rust Runner, drifted through empty space like a tired stray animal. Inside its narrow halls, the air recycler hummed a shaky rhythm, barely keeping up. Aaron finally crawled into his bunk, hoping for 1 hour of real sleep. Just 1 hour. His body felt like old metal held together with tape and luck. The cabin lights dimmed. His eyes began to close. Then the door slid open with a harsh metallic hiss. Aaron froze. Usually that sound meant his ship's AI was about to appear as a flickering, half-broken hologram to annoy him. But tonight, something much bigger filled the doorway. Something that ducked beneath the frame because it could not fit properly. Lyra, the alien woman he had rescued only 2 nights ago. She stepped inside with slow, controlled strength. She was enormous, more than 8 feet tall, her body carved from thick muscle and smooth dark blue skin that glowed faintly with silver lines. Her golden eyes shone gently in the dim cabin, watching him with a calm intensity that made him sit up fast. In her hands, she held a folded sleeping mat. "Aaron Hale," she said in a deep, steady voice that seemed to vibrate the metal floor. "I have completed my evaluation of this vessel. Your safety requires immediate proximity guarding." Aaron blinked at her. "Proximity what?" "You rescued me," Lyra explained. She stepped closer, making the tiny room feel even smaller. "According to Rayla's survival instinct, I must remain in your resting space. I sleep near you. I protect you." Aaron rubbed his eyes. He was too tired for this conversation. "Lyra, that's not necessary. I helped you escape. That's it. Favor returned. You don't owe me anything." She tilted her head slightly, as if studying an interesting but confused creature. "Your refusal is emotional, not logical," she said calmly. "You are fragile. Your bones are thin, your reaction speed is low, and your cortisol levels rise during sleep. You require protection." "I am not fragile," Aaron muttered. But Lyra was already moving. She placed the mat at the foot of his bed with perfect precision. The floor creaked under her weight. She lowered herself down, folding her long limbs with quiet, fluid grace. Her body settled into a protective curl facing the door, the only entrance to the cabin. Then she began to hum. A low, deep sound came from her chest. Not a snore, not a breath. A soft vibration that traveled through the metal floor, up Aaron's bunk, and right into his spine. It felt like a small reactor running under his mattress. Silver patterns glowed faintly across her neck and arms, like starlight under her skin, then slowly faded as she entered a resting state. Aaron stared at the ceiling. This was impossible. This was insane. This was his life now. He had freed an enslaved alien warrior, and now she refused to let him sleep without her guarding him like a loyal war beast. He sighed softly, the sound almost lost under her slow, steady purr. "Fine," he whispered, too tired to argue anymore. "But if you ever have a nightmare and punch a hole through the ship, warn me first." The vibration in the room deepened slightly, as if she approved. Aaron closed his eyes again. Sleep did not come, not even close, because now, the most powerful creature he had ever met was sleeping on his floor, treating him like he was the most important thing in the galaxy. And he had absolutely no idea what that meant for tomorrow, or for the dangerous road ahead. Aaron Hale woke with the strange feeling that something was wrong. For one terrifying second, he thought the ship had lost power. The Rust Runner was never quiet. It always groaned, rattled, or hissed like an old beast coughing in the dark. But now, silence. That was never good. He sat up, rubbed his eyes, and peeked over the edge of his bunk. Lyra was gone. No giant alien warrior curled at his feet. No soft glow on the floor. Just an empty mat. Aaron let out a breath. "Okay." She left the room. "Good. Maybe she finally realized I don't need a full-time guard." He stood, stretched his aching back, and stepped into the hallway. Halfway to the cockpit, he stopped. The smell hit him first. Sharp. Chemical. Too clean. "Oh no," he whispered. He entered the cockpit and almost slipped immediately. The room was shining. Not just cleaned, polished like a showroom. Every button, every screen, every control panel, even the floor. The Rust Runner was never this clean. It felt wrong, terrifyingly wrong. And sitting on the pilot's chair was a small, carefully arranged plate of nutrient paste shaped into a circle? No, maybe a star? Or a flower? He couldn't tell. Lyra stood at the main window holding a rag. She turned toward him with a proud expression. I optimized this environment for your comfort, she announced. This ship was operating at unacceptable levels of disorder. Aaron stared at the smear-free glass. You cleaned the windows? I applied a high-efficiency industrial solvent, she said. Aaron pressed a finger to the console. His finger slid right off and nearly hit the throttle. Lyra, this is not a window solvent. It's for engine parts. A solvent is a solvent, she said, unbothered. Effectiveness is what matters. He looked down at the heart-shaped-ish blob of nutrient paste. And this? A Terran symbol, she explained. An expression of support. I made it for you. Aaron opened his mouth, closed it again, and sighed. Between the slippery floor, the chemical smell, and the strange breakfast, his brain felt like it was vibrating. And then it happened. A flash. The memory he never wanted. Cold lights. A broken cryotube. Lyra floating in thick gel, unconscious and chained. A collar clamped around her throat. Red warning lights flashing across her skin. He had smashed the collar's power core. The explosion had left his ears ringing for days. But she had survived. Barely. Aaron, Lyra said softly. He snapped back to reality, blinking hard. She was watching him with focused concern. Your heartbeat increased, she said. Is your body malfunctioning? No. Just thinking. He sat in the co-pilot seat, trying not to slide out of it again. He opened his account balance on the screen and winced. His money was almost gone. No salvage pay. No fuel credits. Just a handful of digital crumbs. The job he was supposed to finish, the one that would keep him flying another month, had been completely ruined the moment he decided to rescue Lyra. He needed work. Fast. All right, he muttered. Let's call someone who owes me. He opened a channel to Vec and Varn, the double-headed information broker duo. The screen flickered, glitched, then showed two very different faces sharing one cybernetic body. Vec, the calm one, smiled. Varn, the chaotic one, snorted like a broken engine. Aaron Hale, Vec said smoothly. You look stressed. He's broke, Varn cackled. Smells like desperation. Delicious. I need a job, Aaron said. Fast. Something salvageable. Something with good payout. Vec's eyes dimmed thoughtfully. There is one opportunity. Risky, but rewarding. Varn grinned with sharp metal teeth. A crash corporate transport, he said. Big one. Full of secrets. Maybe treasure. Maybe trouble. Aaron leaned forward. I'm listening. But as the details came through, location, dangers, the competition he might face, Lyra stepped closer, silent and alert. Her golden eyes narrowed. Danger was coming. And Aaron was slowly realizing. Saving her had changed everything. Aaron didn't like the coordinates Vec and Varn sent him. He didn't like the job. And he definitely didn't like the location. The crash site sat inside a dangerous zone called the Frostwake Belt, a place filled with drifting shipwrecks and frozen debris spinning around a dim, dying star. People said the belt was haunted, not by ghosts, but by pirates who moved through it like sharks through deep water. And one pirate in particular ruled it. Captain Zaramir. The name alone made Aaron's stomach twist. He angled the rust runner toward the edge of the belt, guiding it between jagged pieces of broken ships. The remains of a luxury yacht drifted past the window, cracked open like an egg. An airlock door floated by, spinning slowly. Lyra sat beside him, calm but alert. Her golden eyes followed every movement outside the glass. This field is unstable, she said. Fragments shift without warning. We should proceed slowly. Slow is not really an option, Aaron replied. If Zara is anywhere nearby, we need to get in and out before she notices. He didn't add the real reason. He used to know her. Before everything fell apart. A sharp alarm beeped. Lyra leaned forward. Incoming signal? Not a signal, Aaron whispered. A shadow. On the long-range scanner, something massive slid between the floating wrecks. A shape with sharp curves and dark armor. A ship painted with crimson lines that looked like fresh wounds. A ship Aaron had hoped never to see again. The Dread Scythe. Captain Zara Mir's personal cruiser. Aaron's pulse jumped. His grip tightened on the controls. The comm screen flickered once, twice, then snapped to life. Her face appeared. Zara Mir hadn't changed much. Her hair was tied back in a rough braid. Her skin carried faint scars like claw marks. Her eyes were a cold silver, unblinking, sharp, and familiar. Too familiar. Well, she said with a slow, poisonous smile. If it isn't Aaron Hale, the man who once swore he'd never step into my territory again. Aaron tried to keep his breathing steady. Zara didn't know this sector was locked down. It is, she said. By me. Her gaze sharpened as she noticed Lyra behind him. And what is this? Zara asked, her tone shifting. A Rayleigh? You're flying with one of them now. Lyra didn't flinch. She simply stared back at the pirate queen with calm, predatory focus. Zara let out a soft, dangerous laugh. So you've upgraded. Zara, I just need to salvage one thing, Aaron said carefully. A flight recorder. Nothing more. A recorder? She leaned closer, silver eyes narrowing. The same recorder my people have been hunting for 3 days? Aaron cursed silently. He should have known this job was too good to be simple. Zara's smile faded. Her voice became sharp. That wreck is mine. Everything inside it is mine. And anyone who tries to steal from me. She tapped her finger against the armrest of her chair. Well, they stopped breathing. Aaron's mouth went dry. Lyra slowly stood from the co-pilot's seat, towering behind him like a silent wall of muscle. Zara noticed immediately. Oh, she murmured. The alien warrior stands to protect you? How romantic. How sad. Lyra spoke, calm and unwavering. Your threats are unnecessary. We seek only one object. Zara's gaze hardened. You think I care what you seek? The comm screen crackled with her final warning. Turn around, Aaron. Fly away. Because if you go near that wreck, I will hunt you. And I never fail twice. The screen went black. Silence filled the cockpit. Aaron exhaled shakily. Well, that went better than expected. Lyra did not smile. She was staring at the scanner. Aaron, she said softly. Her fighters are moving. He looked. Dozens of smaller pirate ships were leaving the dread scythe, heading toward the crash site. If they got there first, everything was over. Aaron shifted the throttle forward, eyes sharp. We're not faster than her, he said. But we can be smarter. Lyra placed a steady hand on the console. Then show me how humans escape impossible traps. He grinned despite the fear. Oh, you're about to see my best work. The Rust Runner dove deeper into the Frostwake belt. And the hunt began. The Rust Runner slipped through the Frostwake belt like a hunted animal. Aaron twisted the controls, gliding between spinning debris and broken engines. Ice-coated beams drifted past the cockpit, reflecting pale blue light over Lyra's sharp features. She watched the scanner like a predator listening for footsteps. Zara's fighters are spreading out, she said quietly. They are searching every large wreck. Good, Aaron replied. Because the recorder won't be in any of the big ones. He pointed ahead. A smaller ship fragment spun slowly through the field, no larger than a shuttle, but cracked open down the middle like a seed pod. Barely noticeable, easy to ignore, which was exactly why Aaron noticed it. That's the escape deck, he said. If the carrier went down fast, the pilot would have stored anything important in a sealed vault there. Lyra nodded once. Then we proceed. They docked gently against the torn hull. As they stepped into the wreckage, the temperature dropped instantly. A thin fog of frozen air drifted around them. Loose wires hung like vines, sparking weak blue light. Aaron's boots crunched over shattered glass. Lyra moved beside him with silent, careful steps, every muscle ready to react. This part of the ship died quickly, she said. There is no structural support. Stay close. I wasn't planning on wandering off, Aaron muttered. They reached a small alcove, a reinforced locker marked with a corporate seal. The lock was half melted, but not destroyed. Aaron pulled out a cutting tool, but Lyra gently placed her hand on his arm. Allow me. She pressed her palm against the locker. Silver markings along her arm flickered. A low hum vibrated through the metal. The lock clicked open like a scared creature surrendering. Inside sat a box no bigger than Aaron's forearm, a black cube with thin glowing lines running across its surface. The flight recorder. He lifted it carefully. Then everything shook. A deep, metallic boom rolled through the wreck, sending loose debris floating upward. Lyra's eyes snapped to the entrance. Fighters. They are firing to break the hull. Aaron swore under his breath. Zara didn't waste time. He reached for the recorder and felt a strange warmth from it. A faint vibration. Almost alive. What is this thing even holding, he whispered. No time to think. They ran back through the drifting corridor as the ship fragment groaned around them. Metal twisted and folded under the pressure of enemy fire. A support beam ripped free and swung across the hull. Aaron flinched. Lyra shoved him aside and caught the beam with both hands. Her muscles tensed. She pushed it upward with a sharp growl and hurled it away. He stared at her in awe, chest heaving. "You okay?" she asked. "Just impressed." They leapt back into the rust runner as another blast split the wreck. Aaron hit the thrusters, and the ship tore away from the collapsing debris. Blinding streaks of light shot past them, pirate fighter fire. Lyra gripped the back of his seat. "They are targeting the recorder." Aaron checked the sensors. The fighters weren't trying to destroy them. They were trying to disable them. "Zara wants this thing alive," he said. "Which means whatever's inside it is worth more than treasure." Lyra's golden eyes narrowed. "We should examine it." But Aaron shook his head. "Not out here. Zara will track any signal we send. We need to hide inside the belt first." He flew deeper into the frostwake maze, banking hard left through a gap in a giant spiraling beam. The pirate fighters followed, but the narrow path slowed them. The rust runner shot forward into a pocket of calmer space. Aaron killed the main lights. The ship went dark. "Now she can't see us," he said breathlessly. Lyra's gaze stayed locked on him in the dim glow. "You risk your life too easily." "It's not the first time," he admitted. "And probably not the last." She stepped closer, her expression unreadable. "Your life matters, Aaron Hale." Before he could respond, the recorder suddenly emitted a faint pulse of red light. The console flickered. The ship's AI glitched and hissed. And then a single warning appeared across the screen. "Unauthorized data, biological classified. Danger level, extreme." Aaron stared. Lyra's eyes widened. Whatever was inside that recorder, it wasn't just valuable. It was forbidden. And very, very alive. For a long moment, neither Aaron nor Lyra spoke. The recorder sat on the console like a sleeping creature, faint red lines pulsing across its surface. Every pulse made the rust runner's lights flicker. Aaron swallowed. "Okay, that's not normal. Recorders don't glow, or pulse, or try to speak." Lyra stepped closer, studying it with silent intensity. Her eyes were sharp, but her voice was soft. "This device carries a presence," she said. "Not consciousness, but something close. Something watching." Aaron shivered. He connected the recorder to the ship's secondary port. The screen filled with corrupted symbols, flashing warnings, then static. The ship's AI let out a confused squeal. Aaron," the AI stuttered. "Whatever this thing is, it is absolutely not certified for friendly use." "Thanks," Aaron muttered. "Very helpful." Lyra leaned in. "Open it." Aaron hesitated. If Zaramir wanted this so badly, if a major corporation buried it in deep space, then opening it could be the worst idea in the galaxy. But he plugged in the decryption tool anyway. A burst of static roared through the cockpit. The lights dimmed. A stream of encrypted files appeared, layer after layer of locked data. Then, a breakthrough. The screen flashed. "Project Eclipse Breed. Raelith Bioweapon Expansion." Aaron's blood ran cold. Lyra didn't move, didn't blink. She stared at the words as if they were knives. Aaron slowly scrolled. Page after page of horrifying notes appeared. Raelith Gene Mapping Experiments. Mind Control Protocols. Growth Acceleration Chambers. Emotional Suppression Implants. Projected Army Size. 1,000 plus units. Lyra finally spoke, her voice trembling. "They are not Raelith." A beat. "They are something else. Something twisted." Another file opened automatically, as if the recorder wanted them to see it. A blueprint. A massive structure, hidden inside the densest part of the Frostwake Belt. A station built to grow soldiers. A station shaped exactly like the one Lyra escaped from, but much bigger. Aaron whispered the words that chilled him most. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a single project. He turned to her. "They're building an army." Lyra's hands curled into fists. The silver lines under her skin glowed brighter, shaking softly like angry light. "My people are being turned into weapons," she whispered. Again, Aaron had no idea what to say. Then the cockpit alarm screamed. A sharp, shrill warning that stabbed straight into his skull. Lyra spun toward the scanner. Her eyes widened. "They found us." The display showed 3 pirate fighters closing in fast. "Zara's hunters." Aaron cursed. Of course she did. She probably put trackers in every ship in this belt. He grabbed the controls. "Hold on." The rust runner lurched forward, evading a burst of plasma fire. The ship shook violently as another shot grazed their rear engine. Lyra braced herself against the wall. Aaron, they are focused on one target. The recorder. Yeah, I noticed. He twisted the ship between two massive spinning panels of broken armor. The fighters followed, staying tight on their tail. Lyra looked at him. Not with fear. With decision. Give me the recorder. Aaron snapped his head toward her. What? No. I can sense its purpose, she said calmly. Whatever is inside calls to me. My presence may shield it. That doesn't even make sense. It does not need to make sense, she said. It needs to work. Aaron gritted his teeth, yanked the ship through a narrow crack in an old transport hull, then dived downward. The fighters fired again, one blast missing them by inches. The Rust Runner screamed in protest. Lyra held out her hand. Aaron, trust me. It wasn't a command. It was an instinct. It wasn't coded loyalty. It was a request. A choice. He looked at the recorder, then at her, and he made his decision. He placed the glowing cube in her palms. The red lines on the box flared, and the markings on Lyra's skin flared in response. Their light matched. Their pulse synced. The cockpit lights flickered out. The scanner went dark, and the pirate fighters outside suddenly veered off course, as if something had blinded them. Aaron stared in shock. What did you just do? Lyra looked down at the recorder. It recognizes me, she whispered. Not as a target. Her eyes lifted, but as its key. For several seconds, the cockpit remained in total darkness. No lights. No engine hum. Only Lyra's slow, steady breathing and the faint red glow pulsing beneath her skin. Aaron tapped the console. Nothing responded. Okay, he whispered nervously. Please tell me we didn't just turn the ship into a flashlight. Lyra didn't answer at first. Her gaze was fixed on the recorder in her hands. The lines on its surface were no longer red. They were shifting colors, like a slow river of fire and ice. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft. It is communicating. Aaron blinked. Communicating? With who? With me, she said quietly. Or with what I am. Before Aaron could ask more, the lights flickered back on. The engines roared to life with a violent jolt, nearly throwing him out of his chair. The scanner flashed bright red. The pirate fighters had regained control. 3 became 5. 5 became 7. All converging on their location. Aaron swore under his breath. We need to get out of this belt, now. He slammed the throttle forward. The Rust Runner shot between drifting wrecks, barely squeezing through twisted metal frames. The fighters behind them opened fire, plasma streaking past the cockpit. Lyra stepped forward, gripping the chair back. Your flying is reckless. It's called improvising. It is called almost dying. Aaron didn't argue, mostly because she was right. He turned sharply, weaving through a maze of crushed hull fragments. The pirates struggled to follow, colliding with debris as they tried to match his path. But they kept coming. Zaramir wanted the recorder badly enough to risk anything. Lyra's eyes narrowed as she watched the scanner. They will not stop, she said. Not until I. She paused. A strange ripple of emotion crossed her face. Aaron glanced back. Lyra. She lifted the glowing recorder slightly, staring at it as if seeing something he couldn't. There is something inside, she whispered. Not alive. Not dead. A memory. A warning. A voice. Aaron groaned. That is absolutely the last thing I wanted to hear today. She ignored him. The signal it sends, it matches the patterns in my mind. The ones I do not remember. The ones the corporation placed there. Her hands curled tightly around the recorder. I think it is calling me back. The ship shook violently as a fighter clipped their tail. A red engine alert flashed on the screen. Aaron gripped the controls. What do you mean, calling you back? Before she could answer, the recorder pulsed sharply. A burst of invisible force shot through the cockpit. Aaron felt it hit him like a cold wave, stealing his breath for half a second. The pirate fighters felt it too. Every one of their ships blinked off the scanner. Not destroyed, but disoriented. Aaron watched as the fighters drifted off course, colliding with each other or spinning helplessly away. What was that? He gasped. Lyra's eyes were glowing brighter than he'd ever seen. A Raelith distress pattern, she said softly. A call used in ancient wars. A psychic cry meant to confuse enemies. You can do that. She shook her head slowly. No, but this can. She lifted the recorder. And it wants me to remember. Before Aaron could respond, the ship's AI crackled back to life. Boss, it squeaked. I picked up something. A signal, broadcasting from the recorder. Coordinates. And a message. Aaron frowned. A message. The AI displayed a string of simple words across the cockpit screen. Come home. Prime unit missing. Reclamation protocol active. Aaron's stomach dropped. Reclamation protocol? That sounds very, very bad. Lyra's expression hardened. I know what it means, she said. It means they want to retrieve their creation. You aren't their creation, Aaron said firmly. She looked at him. Not angry. Not confused. Just sad. I was, she said quietly. Once. Aaron opened his mouth to argue. But the scanner suddenly lit up again. Not pirates this time. A massive signature. Something huge. Something pulling gravity with it. Lyra's golden eyes widened. They sent a collector ship. Aaron's heart nearly stopped. A collector ship was no simple vessel. It was a mobile fortress meant to recapture escaped assets. And it was descending into the Frostwake belt like a predator returning for its prey. Aaron grabbed the controls. We need to run. But Lyra didn't move. She stared out the window, her glow intensifying. Aaron, she said softly. It is not only me they want. She turned the recorder slightly, so he could see the final line of text pulsing across its surface. Cloning facility status. Active. Units grown. 347. Ahead of schedule. Aaron's throat went dry. Hundreds. They had grown hundreds. And Lyra whispered the words he feared most. They have my sisters. The collector ship descended like a falling moon. Its hull stretched across the scanner, larger than anything Aaron had seen outside of military records. Rows of armored plates reflected cold starlight. Its engines hummed with a low, predatory vibration. Too deep for comfort. Too calm for something so dangerous. Aaron stared at it, frozen in horror. That's not a ship, he whispered. That's a nightmare with engines. Lyra stood tall behind him, golden eyes glowing brighter than the cockpit lights. Her skin markings pulsed, reacting to the recorder still in her hands. They built that machine to capture my kind, she said. It knows our signatures, our breathing, our fear. Aaron gritted his teeth. Yeah, well, fear isn't on today's schedule. He yanked the throttle, diving the Rust Runner into a narrow path between two shattered cruisers. The collector ship fired a spreading net of magnetic beams. The beams clung to the wreckage around them, ripping metal apart like paper. Lyra, that thing will tear us in half if it locks on. She didn't answer. She was watching the recorder with an expression Aaron had never seen before. Pain, fury, and something deeper, something ancient. The device's patterns shifted again. A new message crawled across the screen. Core signal confirmed. Prime unit located. Reclaim or terminate. Lyra's hands tightened. They see me, she whispered. They know exactly where I am. Aaron slammed his fist onto the console. No, absolutely not. Nobody gets to reclaim you. Nobody gets to own you. The collector ship launched a new wave of drones, hundreds of them, swarming through the wreck field like metal insects. Their scanners glowed red, locking onto the Rust Runner. Aaron's heart pounded. There is no way we can fight all of that. You do not have to, Lyra said quietly. She stepped closer to him, too close, and touched his shoulder. He flinched, but only for a moment. Her voice was steady. Aaron Hale, I have made my decision. He shook his head instantly, panic rising. Lyra, don't say what I think you. I will not run while my sisters suffer. Her voice grew stronger. And I will not let you die because of me. She reached for the emergency hatch. Aaron grabbed her wrist. No. Lyra, listen to me. Going out there means death. Not for them, for you. She looked at him, calm as ever, and placed her other hand against his cheek. You have saved me more times than you know. With choices. With courage. With your heart. He swallowed hard. Her touch shook him, not in fear, but in something painfully human. If you go, he whispered, I lose you. No, she said softly. You come with me. Aaron blinked. What? She pointed to the recorder. It is not only a warning. It is a key. A map. It knows the path to the facility. And you are the only one clever enough to break inside. He stared at her, breath caught in his throat. They weren't running. They weren't surrendering. They were planning a rescue. An impossible one. A heist against a fortress guarded by a collector ship. Aaron exhaled slowly. You want to break into the place that created you, he said. Steal hundreds of Raelith out from under the corporation's nose. Lyra nodded once, her markings bright with fierce purpose. Yes. That would be insane, he said. Correct. And suicidal. Correct. He looked up at her, and for the first time since he met her, He smiled fully. Well, he sighed. I've always been terrible at saying no. Lyra's gaze softened in a way he didn't expect. There was warmth there. Gratitude. Something more. She leaned down, forehead touching his gently. Then we walk this path together. The rust runner shuddered as a magnetic beam scraped the hull. Aaron jolted back to the controls. All right. Enough emotional bonding, he shouted at the universe. We're not dying today. He angled the ship sharply downward, diving into a narrow tunnel formed by two collided cruisers. The drones followed, but the collector ship couldn't fit. They slipped into a dark pocket of space where the massive vessel couldn't scan them properly. For a moment, everything was quiet. Breathing hard, Aaron finally spoke. So what now? Lyra lifted the recorder. Its glow shifted to a calm blue. Now, she said, we prepare. Aaron glanced at the star map, at the new coordinates flashing on the screen. Deep inside the Frostwake belt, the heart of the corporation's secret cloning world. Lyra, he said, this place, there will be soldiers. Weapons. Labs. Guards. Yes. And we'll be outnumbered. Yes. And success chances are what? Maybe 2%. Less. He laughed weakly. Perfect. She leaned closer, golden eyes burning bright. Aaron Hale, she said, human courage defies numbers. He looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time since meeting her, he wasn't afraid of her strength. He admired it. Let's go get your sisters, he said. She nodded. Her purr, soft, deep, and steady, filled the small cockpit. The rust runner turned sharply and accelerated toward the impossible. A small ship carrying one human and one Raelith warrior. Against a galaxy-sized lie. Against a corporation that forged monsters. Against fate itself. The war hadn't ended. It had only just begun.